Welcome to Comics League Gaming.
And welcome to the Phoenix Press Plays.
So, all right. So this is going to be kind of a different format that we normally do for these because
you see, we screwed up.
Yeah,
we screwed up.
Yes, exactly. Because okay, so what happened is that so at one point my computer like overheated and then made me like reload the game. So I reloaded it, but it also reloaded OBS. So it actually turned off my mic. So when I got back on, I didn't realize until I was editing, but I had no sound coming out of my no sound recorded on my microphone.
Not only that, but my mic settings were way off and I sounded like crap.
So what we decided to do is that so we don't have to throw out this this footage, I'm going to put the audio from this episode on the over the gameplay, and we're just going to like talk about the gameplay, talk about what happened, because there are some humorous scenes like where we were in a cave and Nick went all the way to square one. We'll be talking about that a lot, but we're also going to be talking more about a topic too. And I figured since my how to fix Marvel video was ridiculously popular, we might as well do how to fix DC. But first, there's one thing I want to indicate is that I received Nick's 2100 Samurai book in the mail, and I will say it is a delight. It is very action-packed, and it's a scavenger hunt to find all these references.
You can't see it because this is audio, but like he's got it on the table right now, and I'm just like looking at it, be like, this was in my room not even a week ago. It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, we're gonna do an Indie Wednesday after this, where we go more in depth into.
We're gonna do Indie Wednesday on Monday.
Well, it's gonna still be Indie Wednesday because it'll be released on Wednesday. But the point is that we're gonna record the episode now so we can like have it done, and we're both here. And then we'll go more in depth into the book. So definitely stick around for that. So you ready to get started, Nick?
Yeah. So basically, the way that we're doing this is we have the videos pulled up, and we're gonna watch it, give our commentary, and then just talk about like how to fix the DCU. So like this won't be a strict like the audio won't directly sync, but it should be a pretty good time. So on the count of 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Play. All right, yes. I started. All right, so
all right. My character is just hopping around.
Yeah.
Oh, he's following you, so cool.
Yeah, I'm in the loading screen.
Okay. So how's your day been, bro?
It's been pretty good. I just got off work, so I just been chilling out. I read your comic intermittent throughout the day. It was so like riveting that I just binged through both issues. So I was like, oh, great.
I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, it's a really fun book, and I see why it's like it's for mature audiences only, but it's actually not as graphic as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I tried to rein myself in. Like, there are portions where like I could have gone further and it would have been fine. Like spoiler alert, in the second issue they go to a brothel, and I don't have like I could have them walk around naked, and it would have been story-wise would have made perfect sense, but I chose to kind of rein myself in a little bit there because like my thing was like I want this to be mature but not explicit.
You know what's hilarious? When they enter the brothel, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely written by Nick. I'm like, this sounds like this like every day. There you go.
Oh, even worse. By the end of it, the brothel's their base of operations. So it's like you're gonna be seeing a lot more of those people.
All right. But also today was an interesting day because I backed Eric July's comic book universe.
Oh, Rippa's been ripping it up. I like.
Yeah, he has been. He's been hyping up the Rippaverse for like a long time.
Yeah, and it's paying off for him. Like he's.
Oh my gosh! Have you seen how crazy it's gotten?
What is he up to now? Like, what's the current thing?
Hang on, I'm gonna check on Twitter. It's almost, I know, last time I checked, it was like 700,000. I'm like, sweet.
Prepare the bleep button. God fucking damn.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm watching this, and I'm like, see, this proves that Marvel and DC have no excuse.
They don't. You know, it's like you'd think when Ethan Van Sciver ran his like $1 million Cyberfrog campaign. I mean, that's just why they hate him so much. Is because
also
like he's
so good, by the way. I love Cyberfrog.
Yeah, with the like earning that money, I figured the box better be like professional quality.
It's really cool. He did a fantastic. That's what I love about crowdfunding comics is all the additional stuff you get, all the swag, all the stretch goals. I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah,
getting swag at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good place to transition to our main topic. So the way I figured we'd do this is that we'd give like a little bit of like of our suggestions, like one after another on like ways to fix DC comics. Now, I'll start. I think the fundamental, the big issue that DC needs is that inexperienced writers get their most famous characters. Where what it should be is that you can start on like a C tier character, or like a Robin or something like that, to demonstrate to the company that you can sell books and that you get the universe, and then you move on to like a Superman or a Batman.
I thought that's the way it was, because like look at Todd McFarlane's career. Mm-hmm. Like he did a Hulk run before he even got on Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. No, but here's the thing, and I mean, even if you're an experienced writer like a Brian Michael Bendis, if you're coming from Marvel to DC, especially because DC is very different from Marvel, would you agree?
Yeah, but at the same time, Brian Michael is a proven talent. He's, it's kind of like, it's like let's say it's 1997, and like okay, even better. DC bringing in Jim Lee. Literally, like you're not going to put him on frickin' Robin. You're going to give him one of the best runs ever in comics, Batman Hush, and team him up with the best writer. It is
fantastic, by the way. That's one of my favorite Batman stories of all time, by the way.
So I agree with you on the new writers thing, but like when it comes to established talent, it's really at that point you got to play it on a case by case basis.
Because I think like with the Bendis example, they should have, first off, they shouldn't have given him total dominance over Superman, and they should have given him a street level book. And that's what I hear from so many other people, because here's why. Because the way Bendis writes is he ignores continuity if it's inconvenient. Where when you do street level, if you ignore there's not that much to ignore, so he could pretty much do whatever he would want in like a Batwoman book or something like that.
Oh my god, I don't want to think about like Brett Bendis running a Batwoman book. Like it's cringy enough as it is. Like
yeah, well Bendis has gotten really cringy lately, so it's like all right.
Ben Getting.
Ben Getting, yeah, he's always been like really like, okay, dude, I see what you're doing here.
Isn't he the writer that wrote the story where it's like you got that black girl who's trying to get her teacher to be racist but refusing, and she gets angry at her for not being racist?
You mean Riri?
Okay, that wasn't him.
No, I'm saying because that was his character. I'm just trying to think of what series that was.
Because I remember that situation happening in a Marvel comic, and I'm not saying it was Bendis, but that would be a very Bendis thing to do.
That would be another thing that's another thing that I really want for DC to respect, and Marvel has learned this lesson: respect the mantles. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this on Saturday's live stream. It's going to be about mantle swapping.
Well, the problem is that Marvel had to learn the hard way. Like they basically tried to like. The totally awesome Hulk Yamade
that was like dumb.
The only mantle that kind of still works is Miles Morales, and that's really mostly due to outside forces.
Like, and here's the problem: but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but here's the problem with Miles. Peter still exists. It's not like Peter retired.
Yeah, that's the only reason Miles works, is because they've got this whole Bat family of spider characters like Silk, 2099, where it's like, okay, there's another Spider-Man, Shadow Spider, which finally they gave him a name, and that's an okay. Like, I think Shadow Spider is fine with him because he has like the disappearing ability. Like, okay, fine. Like, okay, Miles exists as a spider person in this universe. Like, that actually kind of works. But like, it took them a while to finally get to that point.
Yeah, and here's the thing. DC is repeating Marvel's mistake with that, because yes, there is a way to do a mantle swap well. And yes, I agree with you that Miles is kind of the right idea, because let me put it this way, when he became Spider-Man, his universe's Peter Parker died. So it made sense that okay, he'll be Spider-Man. And then when he came,
and that was the ultimate continuity. So if you're gonna try something like that, it might as well be ultimate continuity.
Yeah, exactly. And then when they brought him in, at least they didn't make him like a clone of Peter Parker. So I can kind of
oh my god, clones and Spider-Man do not mix.
Do not mix. No. but
it's like we have a clone Spider-Man. His name is Ben Reilly, and he's okay.
But who I think did it the worst, speaking of Thor, is Jason Aaron, because here's the problem. He said, oh no, Thor is actually a mantle, even though, as Nick, as a matter of fact, said on one of the episodes.
All right, yeah, I got it. And whoever wields this hammer, if they be deemed worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
It would be another thing entirely if it said shall become Thor. But no, it says the power of Thor.
It's like I think someone pointed out on Twitter, when Beta Ray Bill had the hammer, he wasn't Thor, he just had the powers of Thor.
And he has his own thing called Stormbreaker.
Which in the movies is now owned by, whatever.
But in the movies, I took it as, because it isn't the Ultimate Hammer also called Stormbreaker?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think they're going for, because when you look at like the MCU, it's pretty much the Ultimate Universe, only much toned down.
That's actually kind of a topic that really needs to be explored more, because like a lot of the comic book movies of the 2000s and up until today have really been mining Ultimate. Like for example, the X-Men movies heavily mined the Ultimates.
Yeah,
Ultimate X-Men, and then look at Fantastic Four, which is basically Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Even the costumes are straight out of Ultimate Fantastic Four. The only series of the 2000s that didn't mind Ultimate continuity was Spider-Man, but that's because Sam Raimi was a fan of like classic Spider-Man.
And look at DC. The Snyderverse is pretty much the New 52, which is pretty much the ultimate version of DC, but they made it main continuity. But yeah. I think the New 52 could have been cool had they not tried to fit in all of Green Lantern's lore and all of Batman's lore, because we'll take Batman for existence. You want me to believe that he's gone through 5 Robins in 5 years? That's a really rough 5 years.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. And Batgirl, it's been a while. Like, not only did Batgirl exist, but she was paralyzed by the Joker and then healed within 5 years.
Yeah, and you want me to believe,
and she was Oracle for a time being too. Like,
yeah, and going to Green Lantern, you honestly expect me to believe that Blackest Night happened when half the important characters in Blackest Night don't exist in this new continuity? What? This doesn't work. That's another problem with DC, is that if they do a reboot, let's say at the end of Dark Crisis they decide to reboot, commit to the reboot. You may have to throw out some stuff that people like, but ultimately it will pay off in the long run. Because
I mean, honestly, I feel like DC should do an ultimate continuity where basically they just go hog wild. Like, you want a Black Superman, put him in an Ultimate style DC continuity, because then you could say, hey, we have this Ultimate continuity where all bets are off, but we're still going to have the main continuity for people who like that. That gives you the excuse to do you want to have a gay Black Superman, do it in an Ultimate continuity where people who want that can have it, but you still have your main continuity for the people who like the classic stuff.
That's
Come
a great
on.
idea. Honestly, that's what future states should have been. They should have just said, okay, we're going to do like our own ultimate continuity. We have John Kent, you have Yara Flor, and the others in there. So hey, you have that Justice League there, and you also have the Justice League that actually sells books over here.
Yeah, and then let the sales numbers decide for themselves. Like I think they're kind of afraid to do that because they're afraid. Like I think in the back of their head they know it's going to tank.
Well, let me put it this way: if the Reproverse continues to soar as it is, I get the feeling that the companies are going to get a little nervous if an independent comic book that just launched today is almost at $1 million.
And then just wait 2 years down the line, Screecher #4 is doing like $50,000.
Yeah, exactly. So
and then 5 years from now, Screecher gets an animated series on Netflix.
the other thing I think DC should do is be able to tell their writers no. And what I mean by that is that so many times you'll have like Bendis will have Superman do something un-Superman-y, or you'll have all of Tom King's Batman run where he basically doesn't act like Batman. And it's because the editors don't tell these guys, no, you can't do that. That's not what the character behaves like. I don't care if you're a Bendis or King.
Now, do they not, like, I know Marvel does this thing sometimes where it's like they have like one person who's like the head of the Spider-Man books, of like the X-Men books. Like,
I
do they
think
not?
They do. I know that at least they used to have that, because I remember they had an office just for Superman.
Like for DC, it would probably be Batman. Batman, the Bat Family stuff. Honestly, it'd probably be divided into two things. You got Batman and then Bat Family. Because Batman is so big.
They do have a group editor, so I do know that exists.
Yeah, and then Superman group editor, and then I'm trying to like, or Justice League or whatever.
Probably
I don't
more
know.
like Justice League, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like the big books deserve like group editors.
Yeah, another thing, actually, like hold your artists accountable, because there are plenty of times when art ends up in the actual book that isn't like up to par. Like, did you know?
Or like the DC artist or was it DC or Marvel, where the guy snuck in like actual ISIS stuff into his books?
That was
he's a terrorist, like actual terrorist rhetoric put into the books. Like, you can't make this shit up. I'm sorry for cursing, but
no, it's fine. I'll just believe it. But anyway, I know, right? This makes no sense. You can't. I don't understand.
Like, how did that fly under the radar? Like,
how did someone not see that? Or it's like when there was the story for in one issue of Son of Kal-El, they drew like Robin talking to John Kent, and they drew the writer thought it was Tim Drake, but the artist actually drew Damian Wayne, but drew it in such a weird way, I think. So I'm like, what?
You can't see me, but my jaw's on the floor right now.
Yeah, I know. I can see it's like really, really wide. But I'm just like, who is in charge of this company?
I'm just trying to like wrap my head around that level of frick up. Like,
yeah, it's like,
how can they be that dumb?
Trust me. A lot of stuff that DC does, you ask, how could they be so dumb? Like replacing Superman with his unpopular son that Bendis aged up.
Yeah, I mean, that's not pedophilic at all, but whatever. I'm kind of reminded of that George Carlin phrase. It's like, think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of humanity is stupider than them.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. That's so George Carlin.
I wish he had survived into like some of these crazy times, because oh my god, the things he would say.
Let me ask you this: how would you? So you've heard me speak. How about you, Nick? How what suggestions that you have that you think would improve DC?
Fire Brian Michael Bendis first.
Thank you. Well, is he fired? Because I haven't seen him write anything recently.
I don't know. I just more said that for comedic effect, but.
What I would do, though, and I'm serious about this, if I ran DC, I would do an event called Bendis is Leaving, I would advertise the hell out of it and be open in advertising. We're eliminating all traces of Bendis from DC.
Oh, are you ready to be very happy for what I'm about to say?
What?
If I was the head of DC, I would first thing I would do is call my secretary and be like, "Hey, could you give me the number of Zack Snyder?"
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay, now that I've set the tone, I'd go like, "Hey Zach, this is the head of DC. I know the films have been screwing you over, but how would you like to do a mini series off of your plans for the Justice League and like your plan for Justice League?"
I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
Like, can you imagine like how crazy that would be? Like,
can you imagine that? I know that would sell because you saw what happened. Did you see what happened when Zack Snyder in his Thanksgiving video just had like Final Crisis like on the table?
Even better. For my second call, I'd be like, "Hey, Ethan Van Sciver, I hear you've been doing really good. I got this book. I'm having Zack Snyder write it. Would you like to do the art for it?"
If Van Sciver did the art for the Snyder Cut book, oh my gosh.
Because my thinking is, I'm already pissing people off. Might as well
double down.
It. Oh, yeah, because like having Zack Snyder do it is gonna piss those people off anyway. So it's like, why not just like piss them off even more?
And one more thing, I would add on to that.
It's not like the art wouldn't be fantastic, and it's a good combo anyway.
Yeah, what I would do is I would actually publish a comic that's like apologies to all the comic skaters. It's like they're apologizing, like Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, everyone. Everyone that's been screwed by DC.
Oh yeah, or just be like, hey Ethan, since you're working for us, would you like to do a Cyber Frog X Superman crossover or something?
Cyber Frog Green Lantern. No, Cyber Frog and Aquaman, because they're both water creatures.
Oh my god, can you imagine how much that would piss people off?
And but you notice Cyber Frog and Green Lantern, you have Ethan Van Sciver working on a Green Lantern book again.
And then have it be written by Jeff Johns.
Yes. That's another thing. I would actually say Jeff Johns.
I would actually bring back the dream team of like do another Green Lantern run with Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver.
Oh yeah. And then what I would do is I would just tell Jeff Johns, listen, just put out an apology for the Ray Fisher thing and just settle that. And then we can move on from that. And then you can write comics for us. We're all good there.
I'd also tell like, Ethan, if you want to like sneak in Cyberfrog into one of the panels,
Cyberfrog becomes a Green Lantern. He's already green.
I really hope Ethan like sees this and he's like, I like their ideas.
I'll tag him in this episode. It'd be so good. But yeah, you see.
Okay. Oh wait, quick tangent. What lantern color would Cyberfrog be?
I could see him being green. Or maybe
it's not easy being green
because he's like a hothead. Maybe red.
I'm surprised no one's asked Ethan that question yet.
I'm sure someone has, and it's like in his backlog of live streams.
All right. So to answer the question, Screecher would be a Blue Lantern because he exemplifies hope.
Excellent idea. That's my one problem, and I talked to Max about this. Max Priestley, he was on the episode that you were on a little while ago. My one problem with Blackest Night. So you know the scene where like everyone gets lantern rings. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they give Superman a Blue Lantern ring?
Literally hope.
Literally, that's a missed opportunity.
See, the thing about Batman is he can either be a yellow or a Green Lantern. Like he's both fear. Like, oh my god, imagine
blue.
I can see that. Just don't give Dr. Crane a yellow lantern ring.
I think they did in the book, but I could see. Here's how I would describe Batman's Blue Lantern suit. It's the Neil Adams Batman suit, but the logo has like the Blue Lantern logo in the middle. That's it. You don't change anything else.
So for my other characters, Kira from Turn Samurai is definitely Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And then Mishi, the villain version, is definitely red.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, when I was reading Samurai, I was like, I see who he named his Star Wars character after, and that's clever.
Which one was that? Just curious.
Mishi.
Actually, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so then this is kind of some inside information for you. So I read this as part in high school. I read this this book, and the Michi was like a name of a car, and
Hmm.
like the Michi Z12, and that's where I got it from.
Oh, okay.
So that's not a Star Wars reference, sadly.
All right. But anyway, so back to what we're talking about. What else you got, dude?
I'm just watching this iPhone conversation going on. My character, like your
Oh,
character
yeah.
is actually talking
My
to
character.
someone with an.
Yeah, right now I'm walking into a house right now.
Oh, so I'm a little bit ahead of you, I think.
You're a little bit ahead, but that's fine. That's the point of having these two perspectives. So anyway, another thing I think DC needs to do is try and get back a lot of its top tier talent, like Ethan Van Sciver, Ivan Reyes, Jason Fabok, the dudes that made DC the powerhouse that it is. Like, remember, DC Rebirth outsold Marvel because Marvel was tanking because of All New, All Different. And DC was like, DC did the complete opposite Marvel did. So they're changing. Let's just go back to what everyone liked.
They need to bring back some of the older guard, like Chuck Dixon and Marv Wolfman.
Oh, yes. Can you imagine if Marv Wolfman came
I want
back?
to see. I want to see Chuck Dixon do a Red Hood run.
Oh, hell yes.
Because he's done Punisher as well, so it's like he would be perfect for that, for like a Red Hood.
Because they're pretty much the same character. And imagine, I would want Marv Wolfman to write a Crisis. Wouldn't that be great?
No, do a Teen Titans book.
Oh yes, absolutely. Do a Teen Titans book. Hell yeah.
It's just sad because George Perez has passed on. So, but what you could do is you could also bring in like Julia Garcia Lopez, who also worked on New Teen Titans. He's the one who took after, and he did a good job. So Marv Wolfman, Julia Garcia Lopez, and have it be like an old school style, like even if it's just like a one-off like miniseries trade paperback where it's like old school style New Teen Titans. Do you know how much that would sell?
Oh yeah. And another thing I would do, they have to find a way to make Wonder Woman comics relevant. Because here's the thing, she has fantastic storylines. It's like once every like 80 issues that you have these gems.
Also, I gotta stand for like an actual friend of mine.
Yeah.
They have all these milestone characters. You need to bring in people like my friend Arvell Jones actually like work. Like I want Arvell Jones to work on like Icon or or stuff like that, or like a Rocket book. He would do so good. Like he's an amazing artist. By the way, well, issue 2 was actually, that was his cover. I mean, you guys can't see it.
It
but,
looks so good. It looks so cool.
Yeah, you're staring at Arvell Jones' art right there.
He's really good. Oh, another thing I would do, speaking of milestone, is that instead of race bending characters, use the characters of color that you already have, like Icon for Black Superman.
Yeah, or like Rocket is a really cool character. I mean, it seems like the only Icon character they use is Static. I mean, I get that because he had the TV show, and he's a good character. But like, Rocket, Icon, like
heck, they use Rocket and Icon in Young Justice.
Yeah, like seriously, you pride people for a Rocket comic. Like I think Rocket's actually kind of a cool character. She's like honestly, she's kind of a better Shuri.
Yeah. And
Shuri, but actually likable.
Here's an example of this actually working. So before the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, who really cared about John Stewart? But they did stuff with him. And they put top tier talent with him, and then he is held up. I thought, I didn't know Hal Jordan existed beforehand. I just thought, okay, John Stewart's the Green Lantern. Who's this white guy?
Oh, did you see the trailer? They're doing an anime movie with him.
I'm so happy. And first off, it's got like Hawkgirl and Green Arrow, baby.
Okay, who should play John Stewart in live action? My vote is on Michael Jai White, just because I love Michael Jai White.
Is he the guy that played Spawn?
Yes.
Yes, I could see that. Yes, 100%.
Because he still looks good for his age, and with him being a martial artist, he can do the physical stuff. And I could just see Stewart,
him. John does not exactly do a lot of physical stuff. It would just be like him shooting and pantomiming, holding a minigun or something like that.
But he would be good. But Jon Stewart could do that role. I mean, not Jon Stewart, but like Jon Stewart could play Jon Stewart well.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
Michael Jai White would do so good.
let me ask you this: who would you cast as Green Arrow? I would put Raleigh Beckett from Pacific Rim.
Charlie Human. I like him, but he's a little bit flat of an actor. I'm sorry, he's an even flatter actor than Stephen Amell.
Okay,
that's a shots fired.
That's a shots fired, pun intended.
And also, this is coming from someone who loves Pacific Rim and loves Charlie Human in Pacific Rim.
That's such a great movie.
It's just with Oliver Queen, he's got the swashbuckler charm to him.
Mm-hmm.
Who could really do that swashbuckler charm? Someone probably in like their 30s, like a Chris Hemsworth, could do it.
That'd be interesting. Can you imagine Thor plays Green Arrow?
Well, honestly, acting style, Chris Hemsworth could do it first and foremost. But like someone of that type, maybe not like someone in their 30s, like an actor in their 30s.
But
honestly,
if they were to cast Chris Hemsworth as Green Arrow, what I would love for them to do is, how he has a lot of trick arrows. He shoots an arrow and it turns into like a hammer arrow. And he's like, "Well, that's stupid." Who would you cast as Hawkgirl? I could see Angelina Jolie.
I'm gonna get flayed online, but she's too old.
Okay, Jessica Biel.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Because I'm thinking like I want like as far as the actress for Hawkgirl, I would want her to be in her 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think because she still needs to be youthful looking, but not like obviously old. Like, don't get me wrong, Angelina Jolie looks great for her age, but it's obvious she looks like she's in her 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a hot 50 and 60, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I know. She's Angelina Jolie. She still looks like Lara.
Like, Jennifer Garner probably could do it.
I could see Jennifer Garner doing that.
Also, Jennifer Garner in the DCEU.
Yeah, exactly.
And then with just imagine okay, so we're doing a Justice League movie with Hawkgirl and Batfleck in it. Like, awkward!
What I would do, I would have a scene where somehow she's fighting someone with size, and then she goes, "I like these things."
Yeah.
So,
or even better, like let's say they're at the Justice League Tower and like Hawkgirl's eating nachos, and he's like, "Oh, nachos! I like or something like that," because like Electra nachos.
Yeah, and then she goes to Batman, like if Batman is ignoring his feelings for Catwoman, she goes, "Bruce, you're so blind sometimes." You need to be more of a daredevil. That would.
Why are we not writing these movies?
Yes, that would be hilarious. It's just no. The movie is no action. It's just the Justice League making puns on the other actors' movies.
So, when there was kind of like that up in the air about who would be directing Justice League, and it was actually rumored for a minute that Jon Favreau was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I so wanted Jon Favreau to get the gig. Because hey Ben, we were thinking about some costume changes, and we want to know what you think. And they unveiled it, and it was his costume from the 2003 Daredevil movie.
It would be great as if in the Jon Favreau Justice League movie, it starts off the opening montage is Evanescence, because half that movie soundtrack is Evanescence. Not that I'm complaining at all.
Actually, the Daredevil soundtrack is really good.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Fuel Won't Back Down, The Calling for You. Seriously, some
Bring
bangers.
Me to Life. That movie introduced me to Evanescence, by the way. I was like,
you and lots of other people. Lots of other people.
So that's one good thing that movie gave.
Also, when we're finished, after we're done here, I'm actually gonna have you watch and then live react to a video that's gonna make you laugh.
Okay. Oh, is it the
Wake
one
me
that
up. It's the Goofy singing Bring Me to Life.
All right. But anyway, so going back to our main topic of conversation, Another thing that I really think that DC has to do really is implement a policy where the creatives can't like blast fans online for not liking their work. Just tell them ignore or block. It's really that simple.
Actually, fun fact: Disney has actually been starting to implement a social media policy.
Yeah,
and I think that I think that's going to become more commonplace everywhere. Like, I think these corporations are realizing just how much damage these employees can be when they talk crap online. Because, like, especially like a lot of these higher end companies, like, because they put like in their Twitter bio they work for GE or work for whatever,
It should be take that out if you want to make all these statements.
Yeah, or just like have a shit posting account,
That'd be great.
Like any yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more companies implement these policies coming up in the next few years, and that might kind of that'll probably help things a little bit. But yeah,
I agree with you, because and that's part of why Comicsgate is so popular, because they treat their fans like family, pretty much. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for buying my book. I'm like, wow, thank you. Thank you for the acknowledgement. You'll be surprised how rare that is.
I'm anointing,
Thank you.
but yeah. Who knew that, like, caring about your fans, caring about the people who buy you dinner, like, who thought that would actually help?
Oh, and that's another thing. Speaking of taking care of your fans, I get that they want to attract more fans that wouldn't necessarily be interested in comic books. But what they have to do is they have to balance that desire to bring in a new audience with a desire not to piss off your existing audience, because that's where I feel like they're going wrong now.
Actually, what I feel like, I mean, I get the whole bringing in new audiences, but they're doing it all the wrong way. Like,
oh yeah,
I mean, they're doing some stuff like manga is a big thing right now, and they kind of like they've been trying to do these young adult kind of series books, which okay, fine, sure, like with Ms. Marvel, the original book, they actually brought in a award-winning young adult creator. Like, okay, I get that, but the problem they're doing is they're creating these books that they think will attract people. It's because they keep trying to attract the people who are not going to buy their books.
Yeah,
like sure, they do something that pisses off people. They get all these retweets. They get like thousands of people saying DC Comics is doing great. But like, when was the last time? I'm sorry, I'm distracted because like one of my rats is like pulling down a towel, and it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, but go on to that. Yeah, DC Comics is doing really great if you look at these new sales numbers, but the floppies are doing horrible.
I mean, that's more of just a general trend in audience and participation.
Yeah, but it's really like the only reason why these comic book companies are remotely, you could say, improving is because they started heavily going more into the trade market,
which is where kind of the industry was heading anyway. So that was just smart to do. It's just, I don't know. Look at Comicsgate books, like, the individual issues do well, but when they go to the trades, they clean house. Like, like when they're doing like the big volumes, that's when you see like the 20, 30, $100 million books versus like the individual issues. They tend to top out like maybe at 10K.
Plus, here's the thing about most CG books that I've gotten: the individual issues are longer than like a floppy from Marvel or DC. Like, here's Thin Blue Line. Look at how thick that book is.
Yeah, for me,
it's a delightful book.
For me, I try to have a minimum of 20 pages. I try to shoot for between 20 and 24 pages. That's my range. And then anything below that, if I do end up writing like an 18-page book, I'll just put in like a side story that kind of bring it up to 24 pages. It's like, come on.
And also lower your prices on your freaking floppies, particularly if you're gonna have 8,000 Batman books and then like a couple of Superman, maybe some Wonder Woman. But it's like, I can't buy everything that you sell.
It's like I regularly sell my books at conventions for $5 and then on the crowdfunding for 10, and I even feel like that's too much. But like I'm the kind of a small press, so it makes it's a little bit better, but still I feel bad.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. You're not publishing like tie-ins to other events and such where, okay, so take, and I always use this example, King in Black, where literally every Marvel book tied in, and most of them had very important plot points to the fact that if you just read the King in Black trade, you would have no idea what's going on. So they do that with the events. If they have, once you made tie-ins, they tie in those key events into the tie-ins, so you're lost if you just read the trade. But also they make it too economically unfeasible to purchase enough tie-ins to cover the entire story.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you need to publish a flow chart so that people can understand what order to buy the books, you're done effed up.
Yeah, then you need to like severely like thin down your story.
I mean, the way that you should do it is you have your event book, and then like maybe like the top tier books tie into it. Like, let's say you're doing a DC event, like your Batman book, your Superman book, your Justice League book ties into it. Like 1 or 2 tie-ins a month, sure. And then anything else like that, if you want to do tie-ins, there's stories that are not plot relevant. So it's like for example, I like Crisis on Infinite Earths. They had a tie-in. Their story had nothing to do with the main story. You just read like, what are the Teen Titans doing during the crisis?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it's like you can read it if you want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah,
you know.
But it's like too many comic book publishers, and this is a problem with Marvel too. They make it so you have to read the other tie-ins to understand the storyline, and you can't feasibly get all the tie-ins.
Yeah.
Or it's like King in Black. Not King in Black, Death Metal. With Death Metal, it started off as like a really like very simple event. And then when COVID happened, they had to like make up that money. So they told Scott Snyder, jack up how many tie-ins are in this book, expand this freaking event. And you see it.
Like Death Metal was like, I remember when Death Metal was kicking off, people were really digging it.
Yeah, like Batman has a freaking Black Lantern ring.
Or like Batman, like the whole Batman Who Laughs concept was just, it's one of those things where it's like, why has no one thought of this before?
Yeah, but here's the problem with the Batman Who Laughs. They invented him in metal and then put him in literally everything. So the fans got a little tired of the Batman Who Laughs.
It's like, okay, we got this big thing. Let's just shove it down people's throats. Like I love donuts, but give me too many donuts and I'll grow to resent them.
Yeah, but it's like as if you didn't think DC had a Batman problem to begin with. They had an event where 7 evil Batmen showed up.
7?
Mm-hmm. It's Knights of Barbados.
I'm just mentally trying to wrap my head around how that's a good idea.
7.
Yo, dog, I heard you like evil Yo, dog, I heard you like evil Batman, so I put evil Batman in your evil Batman.
Well, you know why? Because they wanted to have each one represent a member of the Justice League.
Then just have an evil Justice League. Bring in the crime syndicate.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised they didn't do that. That was one of the cool parts about Trinity War, because they brought in like the crime syndicate.
Yeah. So I know the crime syndicate is like you got Owlman, Omega. Is it Ultraman?
Ultraman, Superwoman, Johnny Quick, Power Ring, and Atomica, I think, and then Sea King, maybe Deathstorm.
They brought in a Pokemon.
Oh, it's kind of funny is that the voice actor for the Lego DC Supervillains game, when you play a Sea King, he sounds like an actual pirate.
Arr,
exactly.
The King of Atlantis. I thought you were gonna say they use a Pokemon voice actor. Like that would have been so crazy.
Fun fact: Jessica Cruz came out of that crime syndicate storyline.
Really? How so?
Because in Forever Evil, Sinestro kills their evil Green Lantern power ring, and the ring, which is sentient, by the way, seeks out the one that has the most fear finds this agoraphobic named Jessica Cruz who won't leave her apartment. So he's like, you have fear, I will take over you now. Then what happened is she started to try and get control over the ring. And then she sacrificed herself to save Barry from the Black Racer. But it turned out the Black Racer killed the being in the ring, not Jessica Cruz. And then a Green Lantern ring showed up and says, you have the ability to overcome great fear. Welcome to the Green Lantern Corps.
See, that's how you write good characters. Like, I'm digging that.
Oh my gosh, she is so great because in her storyline she did with Simon Baz, she struggles at first to make a construct, and she's like, I suck at being a Green Lantern. I'm always afraid. I can't even leave my house right now, and I'm supposed to protect the entire universe. And then finally, when she makes a construct, her willpower surges, and then she basically not impresses Atrocitus. And by not impresses, when I refer to not impressed, I'm referring to like the level of awesomeness of that Snyder Cut scene where Superman destroys Steppenwolf. That's essentially what it was like.
Like, honestly, I can't wait for like Limelight to get her own movie. Like, seriously.
Mm-hmm. She
Like,
needs that.
Like, I could just see it being like a Green Lantern 2 or 3, where like she's like a side character, and then like they give her like her own spin-off movie.
She's going to be in the Green Lantern series for HBO Max, that I'm convinced is not going to happen.
Yeah, that they've been like Green Lantern is really a cursed series because like it's got so much good stuff. Like, I wonder how much of it is like, okay, we can't use stuff made by Ethan and Skyler because we don't want to send them a check.
Which is fun. I just love how people freaked out when his name appeared in the Snyder Cut credits. That was the greatest freak out of all time.
And then even better when he said, so I got a check from WB and it's enough to buy a car.
Yeah, I got a new car with it. Well, they kind of had to with like, he invented like half the Green Lantern stuff.
Yeah.
But that was just so good, just seeing everyone freak out. I also loved seeing everyone react to Amber Heard being in the Snyder Cut because apparently they forgot she was in Justice League.
I mean, I'm just mad they filmed new scenes with her.
Well,
like her showing up, that's one thing, but like the filming the new scenes, that kind of made me a little bit pissy.
Had it happened now, I know had the Snyder Cut been announced now, I don't think they would have invited her back for more scenes.
Oh no, I mean, especially with like the rumors that like she's getting replaced. Like, oh my god, please bring in Amelia Clark, please.
Oh yes, please, for the love of God, do that. And then here's another way to fix DC. Bring the Snyderverse back as a comic series. That would sell.
Like, honestly, I could see DC or Warner doing that as like a temperature check, where it's like, okay, let's do a comic book series and just kind of gauge people's reactions.
See if it sells in comic books, we may adapt it to them. Because when you think about it, it's a really cheap way to restore the Snyderverse, but also test it.
I think probably what they're gonna do is like they'll be like, okay, comic book sell. Okay, let's give him like some HBO Max stuff. Like let's have him do a Batman series with Ben Affleck or whatever. Like just kind of go up the rungs of the ladder and then like see how that does. And if that does well, it's like, okay, let's do a movie, and then that kind of just keep going up.
And that gets into another point I had. Stop paying attention to Twitter, because Twitter is not the audience you want.
I mean, it's proven time and time again. The people who say do this or that on Twitter, like the antis, if you will, the SJW types, like they don't buy the books.
They literally don't.
You remember this happened about 5 or so years ago. Batgirl 41, where there was a variant cover where it was like the Killing Joke, where like the Joker like had her in her arms and he was like painting the smile on her face. And that was like, and that was like an Hispanic artist, and he put so much effort into it. It's just like.
I also loved. Remember when I always bring up this one clip because it's so infamous. Kelly Sue DeConnick going, "If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book." Good. No one did.
Which, yeah, I mean, on a surface level, I get what she was saying. Like, I agree with what she's saying on a surface level, but she said it with such a smug and arrogant attitude.
Yeah.
You know, it's like play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
You know it's bad when you tank Aquaman, tank a Justice League member so badly. I don't think Bendis tanked that badly. And that says a lot because his Superman run was horrendous.
Yeah.
Very. So, what other tips do you have for DC?
And
also to give you an update, I'm in the lava cave on the.
I am too. I'm heading up there. I haven't reached that part where I still am, I'm still kicking. I'm kicking myself. I'm mad at myself. Like I can't.
So it's funny is that when I was editing my gameplay together, I got to that part. Now you can start laughing. I was like,
like, oh my god! I'm just when we get to that part, we'll kind of go into active commentary. But like, oh, like I'm actually gonna like study the footage, being like, what did I do wrong? You know, kind of thing. Like,
I think you clicked the wrong thing.
I mean, well, obviously I did, but like, you know.
But anyway, so what other tips do you have for our favorite publisher?
Do not let Taika Waititi anywhere near your stuff.
Oh no! No. And do not let James Gunn near your stuff either.
I mean, he has his uses for some stuff, you know. But
also
it's gotta be the right property, but he's not like your do everything guy.
And also, here's the problem. DC, okay, so we have like, okay, so
I just want to say this.
Yeah.
A James Gunn-led ambush bug movie would be amazing.
Oh, yeah, that would work. But the problem is that DC brings up all these new characters, and that's fine. All these not really touched characters previously, like Peacemaker. But they also neglect their main characters that make DC what DC is. If you want to introduce new characters or give the other ones new light, have them in a backup storyline in like a Superman book or a Batman book.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how we've been introduced to a lot of these new characters. And like, sure, Suicide Squad is a great way to like introduce new characters, and like I get the appeal of like these unknown characters because like to movie makers, they're like a blank canvas. Because like I can totally change the character, no one's gonna care because who cares about Peacemaker, you know? I don't know. It's just
I still don't, but okay.
I don't either really. Like I saw clips of it, and I'm just like
I watched 3 episodes and then skipped to the clip where the Justice League shows up, and that's my exposure to it.
F you, Barry, you know, and stuff like
I'm just like I couldn't watch it.
Like I watched like the clip where like John Cena was saying like, "Well, Batman sucks," you know, like that kind of thing. It's like, why?
And he talks about Superman being into poop, and I'm like, oh gosh.
That's what I'm saying. Like James Gunn is good for a very specific type. Like he does a very specific type of story, and he does it well. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is good, but that kind of leans into style of humor. And I still think the Scooby-Doo movie. Well, he just wrote it, but like. That's a really good movie. I think James Gunn could do Deadpool.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, can you imagine a James Gunn Deadpool movie?
I mean that is like I'm surprised. Like I'm pretty sure that when they get around to Deadpool 3, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have James Gunn do it because like that is just has him written all over it.
That's literally his humor.
The only thing I think that would stop it is because Ryan Reynolds has like a lot of control over the Deadpool movies because like, well, he's Deadpool. Because he basically got Tim Miller ousted from Deadpool 2.
Really?
Because Deadpool 1 was like Tim Miller and Ryan Reynolds, and so basically for Deadpool 2, they basically just hired a director name only. Because you know how like for example, like a lot of Tom Cruise movies, they just have directors who do whatever Tom says, you know, kind of thing. And so it's a similar thing for Deadpool 2, where it's like. That was Ryan Reynolds' project. It's just they had a director there, you know, for reasons or whatever. And so it's like that's the only reason why I think James Gunn might not, because they're both very strong with what they believe in. If they mesh well, then cool. But if it comes down to it, if it's James Gunn versus Ryan Reynolds, Disney's gonna side with Ryan Reynolds because, like, you know, who else are they gonna get to do Deadpool?
Yeah, I know, but still, all I'm saying is that the humor matches.
Yeah, I'm saying like from a humor standpoint, it could definitely do it. It's just they're very strong personalities and like getting what they want. It's just I'm not sure if James Gunn will take a backseat to Ryan Reynolds, is what I'm saying.
That's true, but one can hope.
One can hope, yeah. I'd
Also,
love it.
I will say one more thing I would do at the end of every movie: put an ad saying if you want to read more about Batman, visit your local comic book store.
Yep.
Because people are waiting for the post-credit scene. Put it after the post-credit scene.
Put it before the post-credit scene, like like right before the post-credit scene, because at that point everyone's having their attention. Like credits end, you do a little like thing and say if you want to read this, and then do the post-credit scene. Because like as long as it's like 30 seconds long, people won't mind.
It could even be a picture, just a picture that flashes on. You could have like a bunch of trades on a table, and it says, "For more on Batman, visit Long Halloween. If you like this, check out Long Halloween." Another fantastic Batman story, by the way.
Yeah. Didn't they actually kind of borrow from Long Halloween for the Batman movie?
It was Long Halloween, Ego, and Year One, I think.
Hey, yeah, they love borrowing from Year One. Though Batman Begins was very much Year One.
Pretty much. That's like the one story everyone keeps adapting. You know why? Because every first Batman movie has to be his origin.
Yeah. Well, for this one, they didn't do an origin, but still.
I love that. As soon as Matt Reeves said, "I'm not going to show you the pearls falling. I'm not going to show you the Wayne's getting shot again," because it's the same thing with the guy that did Homecoming. He's like, at this point, Batman's origin.
I mean, even in Homecoming, they even had like a few lines explaining it, like in Homecoming, it's like, oh yeah, I got bitten by a radioactive spider, blah blah blah. It's like, oh, where's the spider? Oh, it dead. Like they even then they had a few lines kind of just explaining it.
That's all you have to do. You don't have to keep showing it. I mean, here's the thing: in BVS, it actually contributed to the plot, though, so it wasn't exactly like, oh, it's just there.
Yeah, I'm sure Uncle Ben is sick of getting shot.
Yeah, it's like he keeps getting revived. It's like Jesus is telling him, okay, you got to go down and get shot again for movies.
It's like that one meme where it's like, please stop rebooting Spider-Man. I'm sick of getting shot.
And it's him with like bullet holes all over.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of off tangent. Like, I really wished we could have seen Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen. Like, I really wanted to see that so bad. Like, what I'm hoping, like, I know they're rumoring to do a Amazing Spider-Man 3. I'm really hoping that like, for some reason, I could, like, also, my headcanon is that the Venomverse is actually the Amazing Verse.
Yeah, I was about to really say, it seems tonally like it fits in the in that verse.
And also, Venom takes place on the West Coast, so it's like they do have that kind of buffer. And also, like for example, I think that they do have the Daily Bugle, and Venom kind of shows up in places.
They did in Venom 2. One of the guards of the Ravencroft store, like one of the prisoners, reading the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, so that works, So Daily Bugle exists,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could definitely see that. I wonder if the Wolverine game is going to tie in with the Spider-Man game any.
I don't know. Well, first off, I hope they port it to PC, like the Spider-Man game is going to be ported to PC.
It's gonna be a while. Oh, here it's coming, the magic moment. Like oh my god, I just see. Okay,
it's coming.
I see a shiny thing, and I click on it. Like I thought it was supposed to trigger the fight. It's like, oh, shiny thing, trigger the fight, and I'm like,
but what's funny? If you hover your mouse over it, it tells you what it does.
I ain't got no time to read.
If you had not been so impulsive, maybe you wouldn't have gotten a reboot.
I guess you could say my name is Bart Allen.
Barry, what did you do this time?
Oh my god, I love like the whole Barry messing with the timeline memes. Like they were so great.
Where it's like the Batman with the X-Men. Barry, what did you do? I swear that whenever anything screws up in our playthroughs, we have to go, Barry, what did you do?
Like Barry messed up the timeline again.
But that is so funny. You were like, shiny thing, click. What's going on?
What can I say? I have ADOS, attention deficit. Ooh, shiny.
Mhm. So let me ask you this. Going to 2100 Samurai, be honest, was The Last Samurai a little bit of an inspiration for you?
Yes.
I kind of knew it. I kind of detected that because that's what put samurais really in American pop culture, is that fantastic movie.
I mean, it's a good movie. I love the movie. But you know, samurais did kind of exist before that.
No, I know, but I think that movie kind of mainstreamed him a little more.
Mm. I mean, we could kind of argue about it, but I don't feel like it. So
Remind me, I should show you sometime. I have a book that's like the Code of the Samurai and the Code of the Ninja. Ninja. Oh, you know what's kind of funny? For a second there, I stared at that. I'm at that part too, and I'm watching you on the map. You're not even on my map.
We missed the part where it's like you said something and I leaned back and I was like like the high ground bit. We missed that bit.
Oh yeah, unfortunately.
That was so funny when it happened.
I'll do it again. Don't. Oh yeah, will you just turned around? It's in my gameplay, so you can find it. What it is I'm just standing on this ramp and I have the high ground. Then you just see your character just turn around and
so what we'll do is after we finish, we're gonna rewind to that bit and kind of react to it again because like I want them to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on my gameplay. So yeah, I'll rewind it and we'll watch it.
Yeah, and then you see it from my end. It's just so funny. And then like,
because I think I know where it is.
Yeah, we're past it, but yeah,
it's in the lava area.
Lava.
That wonderful.
The only thing worse than sand is lava.
Which really, when you think about it, sand is like hardened lava. Maybe, I guess.
Can I just say one thing that I will praise Disney for is that they had Vader's castle on Mustafar. I feel like that was actually a really good detail because like most of the time, I mean Mustafar, I mean they never put Vader's castle on Mustafar, but like it just makes so much sense for his castle to be at the site of his greatest defeat.
And where Vader was really born, when you think about it. The other thing that I think they added, which is really cool, is the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
I've always wondered how the hell were like so many Jedi wiped out when so many of them survived Order 66.
I mean, they had stuff kind of like that before, like Mara Jade was like Emperor Palpatine's enforcer, so it's like they kind of existed, but there wasn't like a set order of them.
Oh, what Lad told me when we were going to the con is he goes, I am happy that in Kenobi they didn't show the lightsaber helicopter thing.
How would you make that work in live action? Just
what they said is the explanation is that there's like repulsor technology in the lightsaber. And I'm like, well, that's a cop out.
I mean, for me, it's like, okay, fine, sure. Like, I mean, that makes sense in the universe, but it's still stupid. But like from a lore standpoint, okay, fine, sure. But at that point, why do you need the helicopter?
I know. But what's hilarious is if you watch my gameplay, I'm just standing here waiting for you. It's just me just standing there like staring at enemies, just staring at them, not even moving.
I'm really surprised it didn't kick you out because that's supposed to be a smuggler only instance. And you're not a smuggler, you're a soldier.
In other words, an honorable man.
From a more civilized age.
Which, based upon the way you're playing, yeah, I am the more civilized one.
Yeah, I'm playing.
If this were Mass Effect, he'd be full renegade. His eyes and scars would be glowing red at this point.
If this were any other BioWare game, I would have 5-foot horns sticking on top of my head.
Yeah, right. How great were Mass Effect games? Those were fantastic.
I played a little bit of the first one. It was really good. I need to play the other ones.
Oh,
now they did Yeah, now they got the Legendary Edition out. I need to buy it on Steam sometime.
I do. I have it. It's so great. It's got everything.
So, like, we're talking about, like, martial arts and whatnot. Have you ever played Jade Empire?
No,
You had never played Jade Empire?
no.
Oh my god, it's amazing. So it's a BioWare game. It came out kind of in between KOTOR and Mass Effect. Like it was for the Xbox, came out in like 2005. It
Mhm.
plays a lot like KOTOR, but it's like more it's like a very much like a martial arts game.
Mhm.
It's for PC and Xbox, so you can find it on PC.
I'll check it out.
The music is amazing. I actually have the soundtrack signed by the composer.
Of course you do.
And it's a BioWare game, and it plays a lot like a BioWare game. So it's like I think you probably like it.
Mhm.
It's available on GOG, so like you can get it there.
All right, I'll check it out. By the way, so speaking of martial arts thing, what was your opinion on the Mortal Kombat movie, the new one?
I liked it.
I liked it too. I thought it was really cool.
I mean, this is coming from a person. I mean, I still love the 1996 Mortal Kombat movie. I mean, it's Enter the Dragon, but still, it's good.
But I also find the one part I'm not really buying is that the only time Scorpion speaks English is to say, "Get over here."
I don't care.
But it's cool, so I really don't care.
Like, I'm sorry, but that moment is amazing because it's like you bring in like you actually bring in the 1996 theme, like like, and he says, "Get over here." Like, I'm sorry.
No, and just that scene, just the way it leads up, you think he's gonna Sub-Zero's gonna stab that dude. His hand goes back, and then the blade comes through, and he's like,
Yeah.
And then it
like,
cuts to the music, and it's like, "Get over here."
I really don't like how they. Okay, I'm you were standing around. Okay, yeah, right. We're back to the final battle. That's good.
I'm still on my perspective. I'm still standing there.
I don't like how they kind of just use Cole Evans as like original character. He's so freaking bland.
Mhm.
I feel like he was kind of a weak point. I mean, the actor did the best he could, to be honest, but like his power set was really weak. Armor and just that kind of stuff. Like you can just tell it was a movie people that made that power set.
Yeah, he just gets armor. Couldn't they have just used like Johnny Cash?
Well, Cage, but like
Cage, yeah.
I mean, honestly, they could have done like one of the earlier, like one of the new characters, like have Cassie Cage be the that would require, I don't know, that requires backstory, but like I don't know.
But I love how in the newer Mortal Kombat game they had to reboot everything, like wipe out the entire universe because everything got like so convoluted.
Yeah, but like the new canon's pretty good, honestly.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah, and it's like I really like NetherRealm because like they handle legacy characters so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then like also it's like they have LGBT characters and they handle them so well. Like, yeah, like for example, the Kung Lao kid, he's gay, but like it's like, it's like Ray, he's talking to Ray and it's like, oh, they won't accept me because I like dudes. It's like, it doesn't, all that matters is what's in your heart. It's like,
that's okay. A good way to do it.
It's like, okay, they said he's gay, but like they say it doesn't matter. It's like, okay, like that's how you integrate that kind of stuff, like
that's how you do it in a non-woke way.
Yeah,
I will say one of the coolest scenes in I think it was Mortal Kombat like 11 or 12, I think 11, when who's the dude who has thunder powers?
Raiden.
Yeah, when they combine Raiden with the other kid and they like become basically Superman and then annihilate people.
Oh, you mean when Johnny Cage got like the Elder God powers?
No, it wasn't Johnny Cage. It was who's the kid that has the fire hands? He was in the movie.
Liu Kang. Sorry.
Yeah, Liu Kang. Yeah, when they combine those two guys into one being, I was like, oh, this is dope. And it's kind of funny.
Was Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, all of the boss battles got easier because you were so powered.
I mean, he literally has the power of a god. He is an elder god at that point.
Mhm. Oh, and speaking of NetherRealm games, I am unbeaten among my friends in Injustice.
What do you think of the Justice games, like story
I
wise and
love
gameplay
them.
wise?
I love them because it shows it's actually a good Superman movie story because it shows what would happen if Superman didn't like have the morals that we all take for granted.
Also, can we just take for a second, like the Supergirl in that one is actually like really good,
Oh yes,
like a
she's
really
way
good
better.
character.
Yeah, but I love the Wonder Woman in that one too because they make it so she corrupted Superman because Steve Trevor was actually a Nazi in her timeline and she killed him. So there's no one to teach her love. And I'm like, oh, that's great.
So you're saying she's a feminazi?
Probably. And
I'm
the fact
sorry. I'm sorry. It's just like that. That was so easy.
I set that up. But and also the fact that most of the Justice League members are voiced by the ones from the cartoon show.
Oh yeah.
I'm
I like how for Cyborg they actually bring back the Teen Titans voice actor and they have him say "booyah" in the game. Like, can I just say, in Justice League, having him just say "booyah," at the end.
But what's interesting is that
stupid.
at that point, yeah, you know why? Because he only says it in the Teen Titans cartoon. He doesn't say in the comics.
It was obviously put that there for the Teen Titans fans, and it did like. It's one thing if you integrate it into the story, but it's just like, oh, the movie's over. Let's just throw one thing at them to make them happy. Like it's like, oh, he said the thing. They said the thing. Like
yeah. And besides the fact
it's
that
like you're trying to train seals.
At no point is that set up at all.
No. Like it would be one thing. Like I could just see it where like. Where like he had a friend, like let's say, I could just see it where it's like they had a scene where Cyborg saved like a little boy or a little girl, and they said "booyah," and then
and the girl said like, "booyah" as she's being like carried away by Cyborg, and he goes, "I like that."
Or just because like his Cyborg thing is like, I need to accept myself and be more fun, and like at the end of the movie, he's accepted himself. And so he says "booyah" kind of as like a marker of like his character development, but also like tribute to that person. Like,
but that would require actual Joss Whedon to be talented, and I'm convinced that he's the most overrated director ever.
I still like Buffy and Firefly. I'm always gonna.
Firefly Firefly and Serenity are the exceptions. I've never seen
Buffy's good.
Buffy's
good. Like Buffy is like the only place where like Joss speak actually works, probably because they're like teenagers and young adults in that show. So it's like, okay, they talk like teenagers and young adults, but when you have Joss speaking where these characters are like 30 and 40, it doesn't really work.
Well, yeah, and it's plus the fact he tries to make them make infantile jokes like in Iron Man 2. I mean, in Avengers 2, where he has them go, "Hey, Widow, I hope you and Ben are playing hide the zucchini." I was like, oh, geez.
I mean, he was kind of dialed. Like there was that definitely like Joss Whedon style humor in Avengers, but it was a bit dialed back, and it actually kind of worked. Like I feel like Tony Stark is a kind of character where like the Joss Whedon style humor actually does work. But like not with some of the other characters.
It went a little heavy, and then for some reason Josh paired Black Widow with Hulk for no reason, and I'm like, you idiot.
I'm still mad they haven't brought back Liv Tyler.
Oh yeah, I think she'd be. Imagine her as Red She-Hulk. Like she actually comes back in the show in like She-Hulk.
Oh, you do know the actor for Thunderbolt Ross is dead now, right?
Yeah, so yeah.
By the way, my footage has ended.
Mine's is let me see mine. Mine's about over in like a minute and a half.
All right. So yeah, I guess if you're hearing this, this is Nick. This has been Nick from the Phoenix Press. plays. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. All right, so I'm off the clock, so I'm with you now.
Yeah. So okay. So Nick has ended his stuff. I'm still waiting for my stuff to get done. So anyway,
I'm still here, unfortunately, though.
yeah, of course, because I'm holding him captive. He's chained to a pole right now.
Yes, and I can't dance. I can't dance even though I want to.
I'm keeping that one in. But
We'll get done if we want to.
So what did you think of the Injustice games and story and stuff?
I've only watched like YouTube clips of them, but they do seem pretty good.
Have you read the comics?
Unfortunately, no, sorry.
That's the one that's the thing about Tom Taylor that I've noticed. He writes really good Elseworld stories. It's just non-Elseworld storylines is where he sucks.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard, you know,
like
that being
Deceased, Dark Knights of Steel, Injustice, fantastic. Everything else.
said.
By the way, my stuff has ended in 2, 1. My stuff has ended. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. We apologize for the technical issues, but I think we got a good compromise, so we could still give you guys an episode.
Yeah, and then the 4th episode should be a lot better because like we've been working on the kinks, and you really got me now. You got me so I can't know what I'm doing. You're pretty. I'm guaranteed he was thinking he could go one of 2 ways.
Yeah, I was waiting for a second. I'm like, do I have to bleep this? But I was like, no, he's good.
All right, he's just doing a song reference. Okay, we're good.
But yeah, so this was fun, and it's actually gonna be a lot easier for me to edit because there's not as much stuff I have to bleep out. So I appreciate that, brother.
Oh, then let me do my quota. Frick, 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 frick.
Well, that would have been easy too because it's just bleep.
Oh, well, in that case, hell, damn, ass, bitch, shit, fuck, pussy, cunt, retard.
Yeah, I'm bleeping all that out at the end. But okay, but that'd be so great for this bleep at the end of it. But
yeah,
I think we're gonna call it for this for this episode of Star Wars. And Nick, this was really fun. And remember, stay heroic, everyone. Bye bye.